G'day guys, welcome to another What's for Dinner. I'm going to be sharing 5 recipes that we've had in the last month. They're all new and I haven't shared them before, so let's get into it. The first dish I want to share with you today is sweet potato pasta bake. Dave made this and it was just delicious. We added a side salad to it. So first off, pull chopper 1 onion and then some sweet potato. Dave grated as fine as possible. Then he grated a zucchini. So first he's going to put some oil in a frying pan with the chopped up onion as well as 2 teaspoons of crushed garlic before adding in the mince. When he's adding in the mince, he's just going to let that brown, as you can see here. Once it was browned, then he added in the zucchini and the sweet potato and he mixed that all together. He then let it cook for basically 2 minutes until it had softened before adding in the tomato paste, 2 tablespoons as you can see here, and then a can of crushed up tomato. Then he's going to add in some thyme leaves, and as you can see here, he's just pulling them off the sprigs before he's adding in a cup of beef stock. Then he's mixing that all together and he's going to let it simmer for 20 minutes and he's going to regularly stir it in that 20 minutes. He's not going to set and forget. And while that's simmering, he's cooking the penne pasta in a saucepan and then he's going to add the meat to the saucepan with the pasta in it once it was drained, and then mix that all together, and then he's going to pop it into 2 casserole dishes. And the awesome thing about this is it gets you 2 meals, and here what he's doing is just putting some crushed peanuts on the top. You could use pine nuts as well. We went with crushed peanuts. That's what we had in the pantry. And then Dave used 2 types of Parmesan cheese. He used this shredded one as well as the flakes. Then he put it into the oven at 220 degrees Celsius, cooked it for around 15 minutes until the cheese had melted and it was delicious. He served this with a side salad of goat's cheese, which we already had in the fridge, spinach leaves and some cucumber. It's quite a heavy dish with the pasta and the meat, so it's really nice to have that salad to just lighten it up a little bit. The next recipe is air fryer gnocchi. This was super popular with the kids, so I wanted to add some veggies, so I just used some mixed veggies which I put in the microwave before using Jamie Oliver's pesto. That was so important for the dish. And then the gnocchi I've got here is actual fresh gnocchi. The recipe I'd seen online was shelf gnocchi, so I just had to see how we went basically. So I put it all into the air fryer and just spread it out. As you can see, some were overlapping. Put it on 200 for 5 minutes before giving it a shake and putting it on for another 5 minutes. Because the gnocchi was so hot, I just put it into bowls with the veggies that I'd cooked in the microwave and then added a spoon of the pesto and just mixed it all together. The kids loved this, and the leftover pesto did not go to waste. The next day I made creamy chicken pesto pasta. So that was awesome. Like I said, popular with the kids, and because the veggies are coated in the pesto, they really enjoyed it. So I'll be making this one again. It's not going to win any awards, but it was a great meal that the kids really enjoyed. Dave's new recipe he wanted to try this month was slow cooked beef cheeks. So first off, what he did was cut up carrot, celery, then he diced 4 cloves of garlic as well as 1 onion in the pull chopper there, and then he chopped up the beef cheeks. Now these beef cheeks all up were probably about $15 worth of meat, and so he's just cutting them in half. They're a tougher kind of meat to cut, and then he seasoned with salt and pepper. So then in a large saucepan, he put a generous amount of olive oil there before putting in the beef cheeks. He's going to sear them half at a time, so he hasn't got all the beef cheeks in there, as you can see. He's just doing 2 at a time. The thing about this dish is he spent like all Sunday doing it. I feel like in the morning he was preparing and getting the ingredients out, and then in the afternoon he was cooking. So there was a lot of preparation time for this. After all the meat was seared, then he took that out, added some more oil in, and then poured in the onion and the garlic cloves that have been crushed up and mixed that around until it was fragrant, so 2 to 3 minutes. Then he added in the celery and the carrot, then he sauteed that as well for another couple of minutes. Dave decided he was going to do this on the stove top. Then he's added in the wine, that cheap one that we got from Aldi in a grocery haul we shared, so $2.99 I think it was, or $3.99. So there's 2 cups of red wine in there, 3 bay leaves, as well as some beef stock, so a cup of beef stock, salt reduced, before adding back in the beef cheeks. Added some more thyme to sprinkle on the top to season, and then he let it simmer for like 2.5 hours, checked it halfway through, turned it over. As you can see here, it's just simmering away. And then once it was all done, he took the beef cheeks out, and as you can see here, he shredded it. So just kind of pulled it apart before using the sauce that was left there, he pureed that into like a jus, I suppose you'd say. Then this dish could be done with like a mashed potato, but our kids aren't eating mashed potato, so he did it with a pasta. And do you know what? The kids only ate the pasta. They were not a fan of this. And I asked Dave, would he make it again? And he said no. It was just so time consuming. As you can see, there was a lot left over. So we had that for a couple of nights. And look, the kids didn't like it. In the end, I just made another meal for them, which we don't do in our house. We tend to have the same meal. But look, they weren't a fan of it. And I don't mind when I'm out having lamb shanks in red wine, which is really nice. But yeah, I wasn't a massive fan of this one either. Another new dish I did this month was bacon and pea pasta, and this was a winner with the whole family. I think it's the bacon. Kids really enjoy bacon and pasta, so the combination together worked well for us. So I like to store excess bacon in the freezer. So this has just been frozen, and I find if I roll it, then it's easy to separate them too. If I put them in a whole slab, then you can't separate them, whereas these, roll them together and then they easily break apart. I've decided I'm going to use all these. This is all I had left in the freezer. And then in a saucepan, I've got some water boiling, and then I'm going to be adding in a teaspoon of just chicken stock just to flavour that water a little bit before I put in the little shell pasta. Then in my big 2-handle pan, I'm going to be putting a bit of olive oil and that bacon, and I'm just going to be putting some pepper on the bacon just to give it a bit more seasoning, and then I'm going to brown that right up. Then once that's browned, I'm going to add 2 cups of frozen peas straight from the freezer in there, and then I'm going to mix that all together, and I'm just checking on the pasta which is next to it, and then I'm going to add in some sour cream. In the recipe it said creme fraiche, but we had sour cream, so that's what I'm using, and this worked out well. 2 spoons, and then I'm mixing it all together, and the pasta's cooked. This little shell pasta cooks really quickly, so I'm just going to mix that through like that. I used all the pasta. It said not to use the whole packet, but I just don't like little packets with a little bit of pasta in, so I just dumped the whole lot in. And as you can see here, I've just added in some parmesan as well. And then with this dish, I started off with a small amount for everyone, and everyone had seconds. Dave and I seasoned some pepper on top as well. So I was pretty stoked to have a meal where people wanted seconds. This went down so well. I reckon I'll make it again next month, and it's very inexpensive. And like I said, popular with the family. Alrighty, fried rice, the only dish I could cook when I left home many years ago. What was your dish that you could cook when you left home? So I'm going to be showing you how we've been doing our rice in the microwave. So first off, a cup of rice. This is just basmati rice, and then 2 cups of boiling water, and then putting that in the microwave. So you put it in the microwave for 12 minutes, and then after the 12 minutes, I take it out of the microwave, cover it. While it's cooking away, I'm just going to chop up this bacon as small as I can. As you can see there, that's the rice for the next 10 minutes. And then the kids want to help. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I do love to get the kids involved with cooking. They really want to be involved. And yeah, it takes longer. They're getting better at not getting eggshell. And you know what? We all started somewhere. So if the kids want to be involved in cracking the eggs, then that's a great task that they can do. So then I'm putting the 4 eggs into the pan after I've browned up that bacon a little bit. And then don't cook the eggs too much. Just kind of mix them around a little bit. I'm just doing that with a spatula. Next, I'm adding in 1 diced onion and then ginger. I find it's the ginger that really gives it a distinct flavour. So I'm going to do a heaped teaspoon of that. Be generous. Then sometimes I do the same with crushed garlic. We're going to have some corn spears and some champignon mushrooms, just the stems, and they've already been sliced, rinsing them off before chucking them all in, and then chucking in that rice that I'd prepared earlier, and then adding in a bit of soy sauce, and that's it. Serve it on a plate. You can add more soy sauce if you want. We didn't this time. That was fine. If you need some more meal inspiration, I'll share meals from last month, and then I've got a playlist of all the what's for dinners we've done. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you. Thanks heaps for watching. Have a fun day. Bye.